back to Merco's Success Spotlight, where we talk about the journeys of our remarkable engineers here. I'm your host, Shomi Day, and today we have the pleasure of introducing you to our Engineer of the Week, Alok Punj Sharma, an exceptional backend engineer who has recently joined Merco. Alok, it's great to have you here. Please go ahead and introduce yourself to the people who don't know you.
Thank you, Swami, for the kind introduction of mine. I'm Alok Punj Sharma. I'm a BSc graduate in Computer Science Honors, and it's been around a month, a bit more than a month since I've been working for Mercor, and it's been a quite a exciting and really great journey so far, and I expect to be even better in the upcoming days.
Great. Tell us a little about your journey with Merco and the projects and the people that you worked with.
Yeah, I think so. It's been around a month since I've met my awesome teammates. My friend who's I have two more members in my team, which is one of them is a designer, and the other one is a front-end engineer. They both are really good people, and I'm also learning a lot in their domains myself. And the project we are working on, the people we are working with, they are from Harvard University, and they're working on some event management and event collaboration, event hosting, web web apps to centralize their business. And I myself, as a backend engineer, I'm not only like working on the architectural and the backend part of the project, but apart from that, I'm also coordinating with the different services and the services they are using in their business and communicating with them so that I can provide them a better platform which they are desiring to achieve and wanting to be created by us.
That sounds wonderful. Seems like you have your hands full at the moment. Okay, so what has been your favorite part about working here?
The best part is, I would say, the meetings because it's been always exciting to talk with the new people and the people we are working with are really cool and they are so. It doesn't feel like I'm in a professional meet, but then the communication has been all casual and it's been all really a good experience of learning and also communicating. So it's been a great learning experience of directly communicating with clients and uh, getting to know their needs and how it feels like to be sitting in front of someone who is not technical, and it's quite a new experience as compared to working in other companies in which we are directly under someone who's technical and we're directly working under some technical expertise.
Yeah, I completely relate to that. So, as a fresh out of college graduate, so how did you come across Mercor?
I came across Merkur on LinkedIn, uh, I think around 1.5 months ago, and I applied from their website dashboard. The UI was like there's been a lot of changes in the application of Mercor since then. Mercor has been going through a lot of development. So by my time, I think that I was interviewed by Surya, and the interview experience is really one worth remembering. It wasn't even it didn't even felt like I'm being interviewed. It was like a great conversation with Surya. He was asking me about the different stuff I created on the assignment project, and then what are my opinions on like some of the different architectural some questions and some sort of like problem statements and problem case scenarios. And it has been like it was a great communication between me and Surya, and it was quite exciting. And then later I was contacted by them again with the good news of joining Marcor.
Great, congratulations on that. For those who are looking to get jobs at startups like Mercor, like what approach would you recommend learning wise, especially in technology as a backend engineer?
Okay, so right now, as also one of the technologies being utilized at Mercor, I am quite proficient in the JavaScript domain. So Node.js, which is the backend technology, which is quite mainstream and famous right now, it's one of the must to learn. And uh, the thing about startups is that you have to be quite flexible when you're working in any domain, be it front end or back end, because you come across new challenges and new things to solve. So you cannot just restrict yourself to just one thing that Node.js, and you can be fine like to work on some backend architecture. You have to know the different aspects of the system and what are the different problem scenarios and anything you can expect. So you need to be prepared well also, and you need to know a vast amount of you need to know about the technologies and the system. And the good thing about engineers is that we can just learn anything whenever we require them, but it's a good thing that we should know about them at least in beforehand, so that we know when to implement what, so we don't mess up at the right time.
Okay, great. So, apart from technical tips, what do you think was the key to you being at Mercor?
So I think so. Communication is like a really good thing which is required whenever we are working at startups and all. So it's not all about being technical, because any skill can be acquired and you can work hard your way to achieve any of the technical things you're working on. But then a good communication is the key to achieve whatever the end user or whatever with whoever we are working with desires, so that we don't have any issues, and also we have a clear understanding of what we are working with. So yeah, that's one of the other aspects which are required apart from the technical stuff when we are working at startups, Mercury being one of them.
Yeah, one of the biggest questions I get from people is since the domain is quite vast, like you two mentioned, that it's a startup, so you can't restrict yourself to one domain in technology. So it can be a quite intimidating for people who are not very proficient at like everything. So, what do you think should be their approach to work?
Okay, so for anyone trying to get into the domain of my domain, I would say the backend engineering part. It would be great to know about the certain at to up to a certain extent that a technology which is the Node.js, which can be used to create the backend system. But then there are like some other parts of the backend which are like the messaging systems, the messaging queues. So I would name some technologies like the MQTT protocols in it. Then databases is like a really important part of the backend. So I would say that being proficient in the both SQL and NoSQL domains, Postgres SQL, MySQL, and the NoSQL domain of MongoDB uh, shall be like a great addition to their skill sets whenever they are working on it. So when they are proficient in these different uh, technologies, like be it SQL or NoSQL, they know that whatever technology they need to apply whenever they are working on any use case. So that would make them have the upper hand whenever they are working at anywhere. So that would be also one of the key things. Then there are some other things in the backend systems, like we have some caching layers. So we can have some other technologies like Redis, and we have some other technologies of pub subs of like Kafka, you can say. Then we have some other pub sub providers and technologies. Then we should also not only be acquainted with the technologies, but then there are some parts in the DevOps, which I would say like you should know about the cloud architectures, the cloud technologies, like how to work on the cloud with the virtual machine, virtual compute instances. Then there's some other things like how how should like to deploy the websites, how to add domains to websites. These are some basic stuff which are also expected from the backend engineer, not from the front end. So yeah, even though these work are some of the things which can be divided among engineers, but then the backend engineer should also know about these things which are not directly fall into the backend domain, but they are a part of being in the backend part, and good to know.
Yeah, I'm sure that will help out a lot of people and they can be well prepared for this. So, what was the biggest surprise for you here at Murga? Any misconceptions that got cleared after you joined?
Yeah, I always had this misconception of being very strict work culture, and the environment being quite hectic and working with the different parts and running on the deadlines and everything. But then once I started working and having the great communication between the end users, the clients, and having a good understanding of the systems and everything, it's not really hectic, and it's not actually quite pressurizing or anything, but it's really cool and chill. You can just communicate directly with the people and explain the problems you are facing from your side. They are totally understanding, and you can work on things at a really good pace. And totally, it's all a really great environment and a good work culture you can have at Mercor. And the teams also with Mercor sets with us of engineers, they're quite really good people. They're quite helpful, and it's really good working with the team as well as the clients here at Merco.
Great to hear that it got cleared for you. So, before we part, any last tips for the people who are trying to apply to Merco?
I would say that anyway, I received when I joined Mercor and I posted about it on LinkedIn. I received a lot of questionnaires from people about that, what should they prepare and what are the things they should need whenever they are joining Mercor. So what I would say is what I did, I prepared nothing before the interview. Is just you if you work in your domain, you have a good knowledge of it and you just know how the system works and how everything works. You have a good understanding of it. You can just go to the interview and just rock it because it's not at all it's not really that hard interview or something, but it just tests your knowledge and the understanding. So, because at the end, it's not that you miss the particular syntax, but the thing is about that you should know what you should do in that scenario, and the syntax can always be looked upon by any of the AI technologies we have right now, or even Googled upon.
Great. That's a really unique approach right there. Thank you, Alok, for sharing your insights and experiences with us. It has been a pleasure having you here. Your journey is truly inspiring, and I'm sure that you have motivated many aspiring engineers here.